motherfucker.
No, but seriously, guys, this is the beginning of our very brand new schedule.
I mean, we've been, like, getting you ready for it, starting, I think, at
Changing
108.
stuff around.
By making the indie news the first video of the week.
Which, welcome to episode 110.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you here watching us because, yeah, that's right. Now you're going to get everything we do in, like, a block.
Yes.
With the exception of random
extra content will come out at the end of the week, around Friday, Saturday.
Which basically means just the prediction videos we do now?
Yeah, prediction videos, unboxing videos, anything new that happens to happen during the week.
If you do want extra content, though, go check out our other channel.
Yes.
We don't have a lot of videos up yet.
More videos will be going up soon.
But check out, the most recent one was our live reactions to TNA's The Final Deletion. Which
oh yeah, there's still a promo this guy needs to see.
I'm not watching.
But yeah, so obviously starting with indie news, and this will be our first week ending with the Cruiserweight Classic because SmackDown officially goes to Tuesdays this week.
Yeah, so we got the draft coming up this week, so big news. Keep on watching. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the independent wrestling, the guys that you don't see on your Monday to Friday television. Heck, I mean, most of the time you only get to watch one of them on television at all if you have a cool cable provider, and that's what he's about to start the show off with, a little Ring of Honor.
Yeah, so for those of you that plan on watching Ring of Honor on Comet this coming Wednesday, click to the time down below, because if you click to that time, you won't get spoiled. For those of you listening to the podcast, it's a little bit more difficult, but if you're still watching, here we go. This was the debut of New Japan Pro Wrestling's Jay White.
One of the young boys.
If you saw Best in the World, he was in the audience. They were talking about how he was going to be debuting on the next tapings,
and he did. They weren't lying.
And he was actually pulled out of the crowd by Kamaitachi a match or so after Kamaitachi's match, and this is actually what set up this match where he would face Kamaitachi one-on-one. Jay White's okay. He didn't like blow my mind. He wasn't like the greatest thing ever. But he's got good timing. Him and Kamaitachi have good chemistry. Kamaitachi is way better than he is. Granted, he's only been wrestling for about 3 years. I think he debuted in 2013.
Yeah, he's still fairly young.
But Kamaitachi officially a part of the Addiction. He was representing the Addiction. He had Christopher Daniels in his corner. Christopher Daniels tried to make...
He's like an Addiction affiliate.
Yeah, something like that. Christopher Daniels tried to make a distraction and cause Jay White to lose, but as Kamaitachi was running at Jay White, he actually knocked Kamaitachi into Christopher Daniels, who fell off the apron. Kamaitachi then gets hit with what he calls the Kiwi Crusher, which is like a fisherman driver. Jay White picks up the win. Kaz comes out, and we get all three members of the Addiction beating down Jay White, who is saved by the Motor City Machine Guns.
I smell six-man tag.
Well, Chris Sabin will get on the microphone, he'd talk a little trash to the Addiction and say, well, there's three of you and there's three of us, so why not we do a six-man tag right here? And Nigel McGuinness was at ringside for commentary and said, well, if the fans want it, ring the bell, we'll do the match right here. And we had a six-man tag match.
Oh, see, I knew it smelled six-man tag.
That's just what happens when you Teddy Long shit like that. Or you McGuinness it.
It's Nigeling it now.
It's Nigeling.
Giving it the Nigel. I like that one. Let's give it the Nigel.
Yeah, I bet that means something else somewhere, though.
Let's give it the Nigel. Only if you're thinking Thornberries. Yes.
So, like I said, Jay White was still good. He meshes well with the machine guns, but once again, he was kind of the weak link of the match itself. Him and Daniels were the last ones left in the ring after a double slingshot over the ropes from the guns take out both Kamaitachi and Kaz on the outside, and then after thwarting not only Christopher Daniels, he did that weird thing where he goes for a move that he shouldn't have. He had him perfectly set up for the best moonsault ever and then didn't go for it. Jay White was able to hit the Kiwi Crusher on him and pick up the win for him and the Motor City Machine Guns.
Big opening night.
Yeah,
for Jay White.
I mean, yeah, they're really trying to put him over with two big wins. But hopefully he can. I don't know. People seem to enjoy him. I didn't care for him. If you like him, post down in the comments.
Okay. I'm gonna be. Here's my fairness though.
Okay.
I do enjoy Jay White, but I like Finley better. Which is who he's partners with.
It's I don't know. Dave Finley's a little bit more of he's a bit more of a rough wrestler than Jay White. Jay White's very flashy. Then we had a debut of a tag team who I hadn't really heard about this, but apparently during the last tour that they did, post I believe War on the Worlds, War Machine got attacked by a massive team, Notorious Shane Taylor and Limitless Keith Lee. These two big, hefty black guys.
Keith Lee's appeared on Indie News before in like Beyond Wrestling shows.
Yeah. And so they would be going against a much smaller team, the team of Victor Andrews and James Anthony.
The Washington Bullets?
Huh?
Oh. Same name sounded really familiar.
I didn't look them up. They didn't have a tag team name. They're just Victor Andrews and James Anthony. Two much smaller black guys who got completely dominated by Lee and Taylor. Eventually, Lee does a massive pop-up powerbomb, sits out, and then Taylor comes from the second rope and does a splash. Taylor is like round. That's how big this guy is. He is round. Smushes Andrews.
You can't say that he's out of shape because round is a shape.
Exactly. It was an unbelievable, it was a complete dismembering of this team. War Machine ends up coming out and actually attacking Notorious and Limitless, trying to get revenge for the attack that happened on them. Eventually, everyone kind of gets dumped to the outside. We have Taylor and we have Rowe fighting on the outside. Hanson gets clotheslined over the top rope. And then Limitless Keith Lee does a perfect somersault plancha over the top rope to the outside. An unbelievable dive, taking out both members of War Machine, and him and Notorious staying tall. So we got some big hefty tag teams having a little bit of a battle.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's not usually Ring of Honor's motif of people they bring in, which is what makes Rowe and Hanson really stand out. Is they're like two of the biggest, roughest guys in Ring of Honor.
Lee and Taylor are significantly bigger than they are.
Yeah, so to see them actually bring in another tag team though that are big, roughhousing powerhouse guys is it's just something that's not quite necessarily the way Ring of Honor stylistically goes, which is they're usually more flashy, technical, high-flying guys.
Yeah.
So it is kind of cool to see them not only branching out in who they're bringing in, but also doing it specifically to match someone who really doesn't have that sort of a match yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the other biggest team is like All Night Express, but like
maybe.
But they're just like tall.
Yeah, I mean, if you bring in the Bullet Club, you have Bad Luck Fale.
Yeah.
He's a pretty big dude. And then Tama Tonga and Tonga Roa are pretty big, but they're not War Machine big.
Yeah, and they're not in ROH on the regular.
No.
If these guys are going to be ROH on the regular, it's going to be something cool to look out for.
Yeah. We had BJ Whitmer and Kevin Sullivan come out and talk about the aftermath of the unsanctioned street fight from Best in the World. Essentially, BJ is saying that the mantle of just violence was supposed to be passed from Kevin Sullivan and another guy, I can't remember his name. It was supposed to be passed down to BJ Whitmer and Steve Corino. And so, but because Steve decided to go a different way and they ended up fighting, now BJ and Kevin Sullivan are trying to get him to accept who he is, and it was a very weird promo, and it didn't make a lot of sense, but I don't know. They're essentially trying to call up all the evil that's in Steve Corino too.
Which there's a lot there.
Yeah. So it was interesting. And then the main event: Dalton Castle versus Roderick Strong. Roddy's farewell tour from Ring of Honor. He's having his last.
I heard this is actually going to be his last appearance on ROH TV.
I think
is what I heard on Facebook a few days ago.
Maybe they didn't really specify that this was his last one last night, so I don't know for sure. But we'll have to wait and see. Spot of the match though. Roddy went for a baseball slide through the middle and second rope. Ended up shit-whip drop kicking one of the boys into the barricade, and it was the gnarliest thing I've ever seen. This guy just crashes into the barricade. Dalton Castle then runs around the ring.
Is this one of like the stand-in boys? Or
No,
this
this is one of the boys.
One of the twins?
Yeah. And so Dalton Castle gets really mad and then runs for a clothesline and ends up accidentally clotheslining the other boy. And so this just
really bad.
This just sends Dalton Castle into fucking rage mode, and him and Roderick Strong tore the house down. This match was so good. If there's one match you watch from this particular episode, you watch this main event because it is awesome.
Yeah, and this is a guy who a lot of people I know who watch Ring of Honor constantly say, well, I don't know about Dalton Castle. I don't know. And then he's the one guy that constantly surprises everybody with how awesome his matches are.
Dalton Castle is fantastic. And the fact that he was able to not only stand up to, but in a little bit of a way outshine one of the longest running guys in Ring of Honor says a lot to the credibility of Dalton Castle. Dalton's trying to fight off Roddy. He ends up getting him in the corner, and then there's just this onslaught of back elbows and lifting knee strikes. The things that Roddy is really good at, just completely destroying Dalton in the corner. Ends up hitting the gut buster, and then hits a sick kick, but Dalton Castle kicks out. And so Roddy is like, okay, this is what I got to do. Pulls his knee pad down. He's getting ready for that lifting knee strike that he's knocked plenty of people out. And as he does, he lifts the knee, but Dalton's able to get under him, catch him, hit bangarang, and Dalton Castle defeats Roderick Strong.
It's my boy.
Yeah. So
not to be confused with his boys.
Yeah. So next week there's only going to be one match on Ring of Honor. The
No.
entire hour of Ring of Honor will be dedicated to Kyle O'Reilly getting his Ring of Honor World TV title match against Jay Lethal. So Lethal
World Championship match?
Yeah.
You said World TV title.
Did I?
Yes.
I'm bad at that.
Which
World
I was like,
Championship
I
match.
was ready to go Bobby Fish.
Bobby Fish. No.
And they said Jay Lethal, and I'm like, he's not the TV
I'm
champion.
confused.
He hasn't been the TV champion for a while now. But he was for a long time.
Yes. The former TV champion. No. No. The entire 1 hour will be dedicated to that one match. Ring of Honor World Championship. Jay Lethal defends against Kyle O'Reilly. And there was a promo earlier in the night where Adam Cole said that he wasn't going to get involved. But the Young Bucks were there, and they're like, oh yeah, we're totally not going to get involved. So there may be some Bullet Club interference during this title match next week. But that is it for Ring of Honor. We're going to move on to some other results. Kevin Hahn, what else happened?
Absolutely. We had Evolve 64 and 65 this weekend. Some much anticipated grudge matches. So we opened up Evolve 64, which was on Saturday from Queens, New York. We opened up with a Cruiserweight Classic Showcase. Johnny Gargano versus Cedric.
Lots of these this weekend, right?
A few of them. We opened with Johnny Gargano defeating Cedric Alexander. And then we were setting up to what I believe was supposed to be Drew Galloway versus Drew Gulak.
It was the battle of who's Drew here.
Yeah. And then I think Tracy Williams came in and attacked Drew Galloway, and the save was made by Chuck Taylor, making his Evolve return. It's been a while since he's been in Evolve. And rather than calling him Chuck Taylor or Chuck, during the entire segment, Drew Galloway would call him only Dustin.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then we had that match never happened. It ends up becoming the main event, a tag team match between Drew Galloway and Dustin versus Catch Point. The next match we ended up having was a 4 corners match. I called it a 4-way freeway. With Tony Nese defeating Fred Yehi from Catch Point, Chris Dickinson, and Darby Allin. If you haven't, check out, there's a GIF floating around of Darby Allin taking a really nasty backdrop out of the ring from Chris Dickinson.
Oh, yeah.
He catches his feet on like a barricade and comes
It's
down head
nasty.
first. We had Ethan Page defeat Wheeler Yuta. No idea who that is. But I guess Ethan Page has got this thing where he's bringing in a lot of guys who are recent tryouts of Evolve.
Oh, he's just kind of working his way through young
he's-
boys, as it were.
And he's kind of picking out the guys. I think what it is he's kind of picking out the guys he sees potential in during the tryouts.
Oh, okay.
And giving them shots on the shows. Then we had a match that was supposed to be Zack Sabre Jr. versus TJ Perkins, which would have been another Cruiserweight Classic showcase.
Right.
For whatever reason, TJP couldn't make the show, so he was replaced by Jigsaw. Very
not
adequate,
Classic.
yeah, and not a bad replacement.
No, hell no. I'd totally watch Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jigsaw.
They're both really versatile wrestlers.
Yes.
But Zack Sabre Jr. would win. Then we had Matt Riddle defeat Roderick Strong. Timothy Thatcher successfully defends the Evolve Championship from Marty Scurll. And then in the main event, we had Drew Galloway and Dustin defeat Catch Point's Drew Gulak and Tracy Williams.
Nice.
Dustin officially saying that to him, Chuck Taylor is dead.
Wow.
Yeah. Then we had Evolve 65 Sunday from Melrose, Massachusetts. We open up with another Cruiserweight Classic showcase match where we had Cedric Alexander defeat Tommaso Ciampa. We had Ethan Page defeat Travis Air Gordon. That's a guy who's shown up on a lot of the Beyond shows I've talked about. With Matt Riddle defeat Marty Scurll. Again, they're so high on Matt Riddle. Then we had the match I was referring to last week, which was the Catch Point Open Challenge.
Like for a spot in Catch Point.
In Catch Point. So it was a 6-man tag with Catch Point being represented by Drew Gulak, Tracy Williams, and Fred Yehi. And then if anybody on the other team could pin any of them, they would get a spot in Catch Point.
Okay.
The other team ended up being Chris Dickinson, Darby Allin, and Jonathan Gresham.
What an interesting group.
Catch Point would end up winning the match, though, so none of those guys ended up getting spots. We move on with Timothy Thatcher successfully defending his Evolve Championship against TJ Perkins, who happened to be there this evening. We had Zack Sabre Jr. defeat Tony Nese in another Cruiserweight Classic showcase. And then in the main event, in a grudge match, Drew Galloway would defeat Johnny Gargano. Now, these guys were the guys, their grudge goes back as far as when they united the Evolve and Dragon Gate USA championships.
Oh.
Because they were the champions of those particular brands. And,
Nice.
Brought them together that way.
Very cool.
That's what I got for results. Do you got any news?
We don't. We don't really have any news this week.
I don't have news other than
we have a new schedule.
We have a new schedule that really doesn't have to do with any news.
With no more news, you know what that means. It's time for upcoming
shows.
And we're a little all over the place with the upcoming
because you
shows.
got the Japanese guys
I got
who do their
them
shows
New
all
Japan
over the week.
peoples going on.
At least it's
So-
not like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, million shows.
Yeah, no, that'll be next week. Okay, so starting this Wednesday.
Motherfucker.
No, we're not doing that again. At Cork and Hall, we have.
I like Cork and Hall.
We have the first round of the 2016 Super J Cup tournament. This is the first time in 7 years that the Super J Cup has happened. Essentially, what it is, we've got, let's see, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 guys. It's a regular style tournament.
Single elimination.
Yeah, which will semifinals and the finals will take place on August 21st. So we'll probably have the second round coming up here fairly soon. But it's different guys representing different companies.
Yeah, basically, and they call it the Super J Cup?
Yeah, Super J Cup.
It's the best of the Super Juniors, basically.
Yeah.
In a sense, where it's each promotion or each company sends who they believe is their best junior heavyweight.
Yeah, the only things that are kind of like asterisks next to a couple names is that we have someone representing Chaos and we have somebody representing the Ungovernables, as they're not actually like promotions, but we got representatives for both. So representing the Ungovernables, we have Bushi. Representing Pro Wrestling Noah, we have Daisuke Harada. For Dragon Gate, we have Ita. I think that's how it's pronounced. EITA. We have Gurokin Mask, Ryukyu Dragon. I'm not sure what that means. Representing New Japan, we have Jushin Thunder Liger. Representing Kaientai Dojo, we have Kaji Tomato. Tomato? It's Tomato, I swear to God. Also representing Pro Wrestling Noah, we have Keno. Representing New Japan, we have Kushida. Representing ROH, we have Matt Seidel. Also for New Japan, we have Raisuke Taguchi.
Okay, so we have a lot of repeating promotions.
Yeah, certain promotions have 3, some have 2. We have Taishi from Suzuki Gun. Noah also has Taiji Ishimori. Titan from CMLL. Will Ospreay representing Chaos. Suzuki Gun also has Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And from All Japan Pro Wrestling, we have Yuma Aoyagi. I don't know. I'm terrible with these Japanese names. But I like Japanese wrestling so much. Anyway. Fuck off.
Let it go.
So in the first round, we have Jushin Thunder Liger.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to say all the names
I'm going again.
You could have just gone with this one first.
Nope. Because the promotions were next to the names this time. Doing it again. We have Jushin Thunder Liger versus Ita. We have
this is why this video is going to take forever.
Versus Taichi. Kushida versus Taiji Ishimori.
Bless you.
Gurukan Mask versus Keno. Raisuke Taguchi versus Daisuke Harada. Bushi versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Titan versus Will Ospreay. And Matt Seidel versus Kaji Tomato. Tomato.
It's probably Tomato.
That one. Say it that way.
Tomato.
Don't say it the way I said.
Not tomato.
Not tomato. That's what I got for the Super J Cup. I've got more coming up, but I'm gonna give my Japanese a break, and I'm gonna let Kevin Hawk talk about his
I'm gonna lose it when he can bring it back. I'm a little bit disappointed they don't have somebody from Big Japan Pro Wrestling in the tournament.
I don't think the rules, bro.
I think it'd be a huge clash to have somebody that's from a promotion that's significantly thought of by their deathmatch wrestling standards versus their actual wrestling to jump into the tournament with all these guys who are known for the wrestling promotions.
Yeah. The next names I have are way easier.
All right. Well, we got quite a few upcoming shows here in the States. We're going to start on Friday. That's the 22nd. If you're in Cleveland, Ohio, check out Absolution 11. I remember Absolution 10 was one of the most stacked cards we talked about last year.
Yeah.
Big time. This is from Absolute Intense Wrestling. We got a lot of stuff going on. We've got Jock Sampson versus Dick Justice. This is a rivalry that's been going on all year long. Like a lot of the times, Jock Sampson is going to have Colonel Robert Parker in his corner.
Right.
To combat this, though, Dick Justice is going to have none other than Dirty Dutch Mantel. That's, for you WWE fans, most formerly known as Zeb Coulter.
Can't believe he's in Dick Justice's corner. That's
fantastic. If that is your real name. Then we're going to have Raymond Rowe versus Tim Donst. This is going to be one of Tim Donst's rare appearances on the Indies, as he's going through a lot of family issues.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
We got Lewis Linden versus Zack Sabre Jr. Should be a good match.
Good.
We're going to have a 6-man tag, lucha-style craziness with Skida Jr., Steve Payne, and Gringo Loco versus DJZ, Laredo Kid, and Bandolero. We're going to have a 2 out of 3 falls match for the AIW Tag Team Championships as we try and put the feud to rest between Hot Sauce Entertainment and Team 2 Infinity.
It's been going on for a while.
Yeah. We've got the match that I believe, yes, is for the Intense Championship. We got Alex Daniels versus Cedric Alexander versus Jerry versus Facade. Then we've got a tag team match between the Duke and BJ Whitmer versus Frankie Flynn and a mystery partner.
Don't know.
Then we have probably the 2 most talked about matches on this card. We've got probably one of the most talked about matches of this upcoming weekend, an intergender tag team match that's going to feature Johnny Gargano teaming with Candice LeRae as they take on EC3 and Carly Perez.
For those of you that watch Lucha Underground, that is Katrina.
Yeah, so it's sort of a take on EC3's stable that he had in AIW earlier called
TV Ready.
Dudes on TV.
Yeah, Dudes on TV. Dudette on TV.
And then we're going to have the Absolute Championship match between Ethan Page, Josh Prohibition, and Josh Alexander.
Wow.
But then, on Saturday, say you're not in the States, and you're up to our neighbors in the north, and you're in Toronto, at 2 p.m., you can check out our friends at Chikara.
Chikara!
Yeah, because we're going to start out with Nature Calls.
Alright.
Got quite a few cool matches on the bill. We're going to have a 4 corners elimination tag match. This is a staple in Chikara weekends. Mm-hmm. One of these gives a team a chance to amass 3 points in one go.
If they're lucky.
If they can be that successful. We know that the most recent team to be added to this match is the Osirian Portal.
Yeah, my boys.
One team is still a mystery to be known. The first team announced was the Hermit Crab and Rock Lobster. Okay. But taking the next slot is the Canadian duo of Scott Parker and Shane Matthews. Feel the flow of 3.0. All right.
Awesome. I'm glad to see 3.0 back.
Yeah. And then we have another Chikara return. Somebody who hasn't made a Chikara appearance in many a moon, as we have Kobold taking on the...
I saw Kobold's promo today.
This
is
not how he was looking back when he was in Chikara first, but he's going against Evil Uno.
Yeah.
Who was once Player Uno, who was a Chikara staple at one point. Him and Dose as the Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
But they're up in his territory because he is Canadian. He's
Absolutely.
from Canada,
yep.
So he's going to be there. So bringing in 2 former Chikara Canadian staples, 3.0 and Player Uno.
Very cool.
We're also going to have a one-on-one match between Oleg the Usurper and Officer Warren Barksdale. Barksdale is constantly always on Oleg's case about breaking the law. So this is kind of making them hash their issues out. Then we have an interesting 8-person tag team match coming up.
How interesting.
We're going to have a team of the Hexed Men, and that's what they're calling the Army of Nazmal Dude, if you will. Which I'm assuming it means it's going to be Hollow Wicked, probably Hollow Wicked, Frightmare, and the Batiri, or Hollow Wicked, Icarus, and the Batiri. I'm thinking that because I don't think Frightmare is on the card at all.
Okay.
That I've seen. And they're taking on a quartet of ladies.
Ooh.
As they're taking on Princess Kimberly, Heidi Lovelace, and the Sea Stars, Ashley Vox and Delmi Exo.
Nice!
And in the main event, 2 guys who are going into the main event with 2 points apiece, looking to cement their selves as the new #1 contenders. 2 seasoned Chikara veterans, Drew Gulak versus Dasher Hatfield.
Ooh.
One of those guys is coming out with 3 points.
Someone's getting contention.
Also on Saturday, if you're back in the States and you just happen to be in Illinois in the Marionette Park region, you can check out AAW's United We Stand.
Which has got a killer title match, I know that for sure.
It's got a killer title match, it does. One of the people's is, they didn't say in what aspect, but the Drago is announced to be there.
Awesome.
We're going to have Ohio is for Killers, Jake and Dave Chris taking on the Hooligans. One of the more recently announced matches is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa will be taking on Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee. We're going to have Jessica Havoc versus Heidi Lovelace. Josh Alexander versus Silas Young. Marty Scurll versus Phoenix. The AAW Heritage Championship will be defended by AR Fox against Matt Fitchett. And in the main event, that Killer Championship match you're looking forward to, Sami Callihan defends his title against Pentagon Jr. But that's not all.
What?
Head back up to Canada because this is a double feature.
Chikara again?
This time it's back in the habit. Because you're doing it again, so it's a habit at that point.
It's a habit.
Stop
going to Canada.
This one is a very ant-heavy show.
Oh.
We
got a lot of ants.
This is a colony-heavy show.
All right.
Because we're going to open up with Juke Joint Lucas Calhoun versus Soldier Ant.
All right.
Then we're going to have the Batiri taking on Silver Ant and Worker Ant.
All right.
Now we're going to have two former ants square off as we get a one-on-one match between Missile Assault Man and Pinky Sanchez.
All right.
Then we're going to have a debut.
What? The debut.
A big debut.
The biggest debut that Chikara's ever had.
Or potentially the exact opposite. The smallest debut Chikara's ever had.
No, I'm still going with the biggest.
Because we've got the big deal, formerly known as WWE's Hornswoggle.
A.K.A. Swoggle, A.K.A. Dylan Postel, whatever you want to call him. He's the big deal.
And he's making his Chikara debut against none other than...
Oh, God.
Juan Francisco de Coronado.
Thank God.
Juan
God
Francisco
damn. I am so excited.
de Coronado.
I am so excited for next week you to tell me that Hornswoggle beat Juan Francisco de Coronado. If that happens...
I'm gonna do a little jig.
I will river dance all over this motherfucker.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to it.
All right.
We got a really interesting tag team dynamic. If I read this right, we're gonna have Team NRG versus some over the seas challengers in Mustache Mountain.
Oh shit!
And then in the main event, or what I would assume is the main event, we've got Hollowicked making his first title defense of his second reign. Still making history, the first two-time Grand Champion, now the first person to defend the Grand Championship twice in two different reigns. He's going against Fire Ant. Like I said, ant-heavy show. A lot of ants.
Like what, one match, two matches that don't have any
ants? Two matches, no ants.
Wow.
The rest of the match, ants or former ants.
Wow.
Who,
awesome.
in my theory, will become ants again.
Oh.
Have I not told you about my giant theory? My ant string theory.
You told me a little bit.
Yeah, I've got ant string theory.
Oh.
Going on.
We'll talk about it after the show.
Yeah. That's what I've got for upcoming shows. I know you got more of them Japanese fellas to talk about.
I got easier names to talk about this time.
Alrighty.
So, starting... No, he's in the Super J. So starting on Friday back in Cork and Hall, we're going to start the G1 Climax.
Oh, that's my favorite climax.
This is going to go from...
Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking G-string.
This is going to go from July 18th all the way until August 14th. The winner of this tournament... This is very much the same as the Best of Super Juniors. It's round robin. This has got 20 guys in it, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys in this
And not all junior heavyweights.
No. Not even close. So this is all, the winner ends up getting a Money in the Bank briefcase type thing that guarantees them a chance at the IWGP Heavyweight Championship or Junior Heavyweight Championship, depending on who wins it. So, the 20 guys we got 10 guys in Block A. We got Bad Luck Fale, we have Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Togi Makabe, Naomichi Marufuji, Kazuchika Okada, Sanada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroshi Tenzan, and Tamatanga. And then in Block B...
That's two Bullet Club guys in Block A.
Yeah.
So, Tamatanga and Bad Luck Fale will have to face each other.
Yeah.
That's interesting to see how that plays in, because it's not often you see Bullet Club v. Bullet Club.
Now, there's something very similar on this other side, but I can almost guarantee how it's going to work. See if you catch the same drift I'm thinking. In Block B, we have Michael Elgin, we have Evil, we have Tomoki Honma, Yuji Nagata, Tetsuya Naito, Katsushiko Nakajima, Kenny Omega, Katsuyori Shibata, Toru Yano, and Yoshihashi. So we have 2 members of the Ungovernables.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they have to face each other twice. I'm guessing Tetsuya Naito makes Evil lay down for him twice.
Wouldn't be surprised.
So on Friday in Cork and Hall, we start this tournament with the...
So everybody has to face each other twice in this.
Yeah,
it's a double round robin. That means they're going to have a lot of matches. Because if you remember, the last double round robin we covered was Challenge of the Immortals, where every team had to face every other team twice.
Well, okay, so this one is held the same. It says it's being held the same way as the Best of Super Juniors, which was a double round robin. Everyone had to face each other twice. So the fact that there is 20 guys, they might only do 1 match apiece. So we'll have to find out as the matches further on. So if you want any more information on these cards, I'm only doing G1 Climax matches. So if you want more, check out the New Japan link in the description.
Ignore the super white arm behind the posts.
Yes. But the G1 Climax matches that we have on Friday, we have Katsuya Shibata taking on Tomoki Honma, Yuji Nagata versus Tetsuya Naito, Michael Elgin versus Evil, Yoshihashi versus Kenny Omega, and Toru Yano versus Katsushiko Nakajima. Then, on Saturday, this is from the Machida Gymnasium, also in Tokyo. We have Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Togi Makabe. We have Okada versus Sanada. We have Naomichi Marufuji taking on Bad Luck Fale. Tomohiro Ishii versus Hiroki Goto. Hiroyoshi Tenzan versus Tama Tonga. And that is on Saturday. Then following it up on Sunday, once again at Korakuen Hall, we have Michael Elgin versus Tetsuya Naito, Katsuyori Shibata versus Katsushiko Nakajima, Toru Yano versus Kenny Omega, Yuji Nagata versus Evil, and Tomoki Honma versus Yoshihashi.
I want to see Yuji Nagata versus Evil.
Yeah?
That sort of intrigues me.
Set off something.
Yeah.
Well, they released matches from the Best of the Super Juniors. Maybe they'll release some matches from the G1 Climax.
Yeah, I don't know. I get vibes of young Yuji Nagata out of Evil.
Oh. All right.
Every now and again. Not super often, but every now and again. So, yeah. I want to see how they pair off.
Well, maybe we'll get those matches. But that's all we got for indie news.
All right, that was a lot, guys.
Yeah.
If you sat through us till the end, thanks for staying on. Thanks for listening. And as always, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe.
And click all the links, because
there's a copious amount of
there
links.
are a lot of links. We have all of our usual ones down at the bottom of the description. Send you all of our social medias. Take you to the podcast.
Talk to us. Chat with us.
Yes. Because...
And specifically, while you're doing so, let us know your favorite independent promotions or your local independent promotions if you want us to cover them, because we don't want just all these guys that we talk about on the regular.
We want more.
We want to keep adding more. Yeah, we want to make these videos longer, apparently. We're gluttons for punishment.
Yeah.
Especially if you have promotions with a lot of hard to say names. We'll make you
We want to add more names to the list that we already have. We have Ring of Honor, we have Chikara, we have Beyond, we have Absolute Intense Wrestling, we have AAW, we have all kinds of
Combat Zone
down in the description, but we want to add more. Just recently we added Attack Pro thanks to Jamie's submission. So if you have your favorite or your local or whatever promotion you
give
have,
us links, YouTube, Facebook, email doesn't do us anything, website,
all that stuff.
Twitter. anything where we can get information.
And if we see something we like, we will add not only that name to our list, not only to our regular indie news, but we'll give you a shout out for thanking you for bringing them to our attention.
Yeah.
But for those of you that are looking forward to the rest of the video this week, if you're not checking out the podcast, check out that playlist.
Yeah, just to reiterate, checking out the videos this week, you're going to get the Monday Night Raw review on Tuesday. And this week, you're going to get the first ever Tuesday's SmackDown review.
With the brand new 2016 WWE Draft.
And that's going to come to you on Wednesday. And then the midweek wrap-up on Thursday.
On Thursday, you'll get main event, you get NXT, and you'll get the final night, the season finale of season 2 of Lucha Underground, Ultima Lucha Dos Part 3.
The finale of Ultima Lucha, where we know a lot of
2 hours. Oh. And that's probably going to get its own video this week because it's 2 hours long.
It's going to have a lot of shit going down.
So.
And then, as long as its duration on the network, we're going to be ending the week with the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yes. And then coming up this weekend for a special extra video of the week, you'll be getting our predictions for Battleground, which is coming up this Sunday.
And that's specifically for you YouTube watchers only.
Yep.
So if you listen to this in podcast form, you got to pop over to the YouTube to watch us talk about our predictions for Battleground.
And CWC. CWC will not be a podcast. That is a video exclusive as well.
All right.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.